Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, May 10th, 2017, and this is your Fun Fact of the Day. Today's Womanly Wednesday is revolving around loyalty. In the Bible, Ruth has got to be one of my favorite characters in general, but definitely my favorite woman. She's so important that she even has a book dedicated to her. Only Esther was able to accomplish this. Very few women have a book, let alone are even mentioned in the Bible. But Ruth gets both. Quick backstory for those who don't know. There was a couple named Elimelech and Naomi, and they left their hometown because there was a severe famine to go to a place where there was more food. They brought their two sons, Mahlon and Chilion, or something like that. And while they were there, Elimelech died. Mahlon and Chilion both got married, one to Orpah, one to Ruth. We don't know which one, doesn't quite matter. But while they were there, like I said, Elimelech died, and eventually so did Naomi's two sons. So when Naomi decided to go back to her hometown about 10 years later, she tried to get her daughters-in-law to go back to their families because she had nothing to offer them. She had no husband, she had no sons. She was essentially destitute. And after trying to persuade Orpah decided to go back to her family, but Ruth said, absolutely not. Where you go, I will go. Your God will be my God. Your family will be my family. Your life will be my life. Like, I'm not leaving you. We don't know necessarily why. I've had a horrible family life, but either way, she decided she was going to go with Naomi, and she was absolutely loyal to her. It was a very beautiful thing what Ruth did for Naomi. Like, there was no reason Ruth should even want to go with Naomi other than family loyalty and love. So eventually when they get back to Naomi's hometown, she says that you should call me Mara. My life has been so bitter. I am no longer Naomi. Call me Mara. And during this time, Ruth eventually meets a man named Boaz. And when he finds out who she is, he says to her, all that you have done for your mother-in-law since of the death of your husband has been told to me, how you've left your father and your mother and your native land and come with her to a people you never knew before. And then he said to her, the Lord repay you for what you have done, and let a full reward be given to you by the Lord himself, the God of Israel, under whose wings you've taken refuge. This is what Boaz says to Ruth after she questions why he's being so nice to her. He was giving her food from his fields and making his servants purposefully drop food for her. And that's what he said when she asked why he was doing that. He pretty much said, because you were loyal to Naomi and you came to these people that you didn't know, and how much that was just amazing. So Boaz says, is essentially saying, because you were super loyal to Naomi, this is why I'm being generous with you, because I want to be a way the Lord repays you for your kindness to Naomi. Because of Ruth's loyalty, Boaz just wanted to make sure she was cared for. And, eventually they get married, and through this I think they have Obed, who then has Jesse, who has David, which is the line of Jesus, essentially. So one act of loyalty essentially brought about Jesus' birth. So why do I tell this story? Go off on a tangent like I usually do. To show just how loyal Ruth was to Naomi. Even when Naomi's husband died, even when Ruth's own husband died, she didn't leave her and go back to her people to get remarried to someone else. She went with Naomi knowing that Naomi would never have any more sons. She wouldn't be able to marry any more of Naomi's children. She wouldn't even have a hope of any sort of life, really, but she was loyal to Naomi, and she went with her to a place she didn't know. There would have been absolutely no shame for Ruth to go back to her family. It would have even made more sense and would have been better for her in the short term. But after spending time with, about 10 years with Naomi and her family, Ruth had taken her God as her own God and was determined to be loyal to her mother-in-law. Now, this isn't the exact A plus B equals C. This isn't the route you have to take if your husband dies. There are vast many ways to be loyal. You should be loyal to your friends. You should be loyal to your husband. A womanly woman in general is just loyal. Coincidentally, the story of Ruth is also a great story for caring for widows as well. Both on Ruth's part and Boaz's part. Ruth took care of Naomi, and Boaz ended up taking care of Ruth and subsequently Naomi. Because of loyalty, they all took care of each other. So, womanly women, be loyal. Always, really. Be loyal to your spouse. Be loyal to your children. Be loyal to your dog. In other news, it is National Bike to School Day. So if you live within, a respectable distance from your school children, get on your bike and avoid the bus, or don't make your parents have to drive you to school for one day. Just, bike to school. It's really good for you and the environment. It is also National Receptionist Day. So thank that woman or man behind the counter that's checking you in and taking care of all the stuff. They do a lot more than you even think is possible. I've worked near receptionists at vet clinics and they're crazy busy. It is also National Third Shift Workers Day. Props to those people. Working nocturnally is against everything in our nature. We're supposed to be diurnal people in general. We are not supposed to be awake at night. So third shift people who keep this world running, props to you and thank you so much. Hope you've enjoyed this fun fact of the day. See you tomorrow.